Hi.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our participants joining us across from different time zones. Welcome to this month's EDI webinar series. My name is Metelo Subakanya and I work as a research associate at CIMMYT based in Lusaka, Zambia. In today's topic, strengthening innovations for legume seed systems, we will explore how the EDI program has been instrumental in advancing agricultural transformation in Southern Africa through innovations in legume seed systems. So to set the stage, we will begin with reflections from a distinguished expert within CIMMYT who has played a central role in shaping the EDI initiative. It is my honor to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Peter Sitimela, CIMMYT's Zambia's country representative. He's the chief of party for EDI and as well as a senior scientist specializing in legume seed systems. He also brings extensive experience in agricultural research and seed system development across the region. So it is my honor to bring on stage Dr. Sitimela. So over to you, Doc. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Metelo, for the introduction, and thank you for also putting this webinar together. Putting up this webinar together. As you know, the AID project has been running for almost two and a half years. The project was supported by USAID and the State Department. So it had three components: soil health, legume and maize seed systems, and also agricultural advisories. So I'll just in summary share what we did in terms of trying to strengthen innovation for legume seed systems. And then my colleague from CIMMYT will go into more details what they did. So probably the first question people may ask, what is the legume seed systems? Usually seed system, we look at variety development, how we develop new varieties that are drought tolerant, that are biofortified. Once the varieties are released, we move into seed production, and that seed production may include a breeder seed, certified seed, and that now moves on to farmer delivery, how we deliver the part. So on ADI, we're really looking at seed production or farmer delivery. We're not looking at variety development. So this is the part that I'll be concentrating on in this presentation. So usually when we talk of legume seed systems, there are some characteristics about legumes. We know that they are low in terms of multiplication ratio. They are recycled by farmers, and most of the seed comes from the informal seed market. And there's low variety turnover. That means we're still using some of the old uh, varieties. And most of the seed companies, they will tell you that one of the challenges is the early generation seed when it comes to legume seed systems. So for ADI to scale seed production, to scale the use of legumes, we had to look at these characteristics of legumes in the market. So one of the first thing that we did was to identify the legumes that will be there for scaling. For example, soybean, groundnuts, pigeon pea, beans, and cowpeas. And then, for example, in Tanzania, we also included mung. So those were the varieties we wanted to scale out, and also we wanted to scale some of the newer varieties. And some of the varieties, we had to look what is available in terms of seed. Some of them, there was no seed. There was no breeder seed. There was only probably just like 1 kg. So we had to ask ourselves whether we'll be able to scale that, or we look to the varieties that have more foundation seed so that we can quickly scale. Then we look at the suppliers. So these are some of the few companies or few partners that had seed for variety scaling. And then we look at the foundation seed and also at certified seed. So these are the partners that we worked with. And then we try to identify what will be the key roles of each partners. For example, the CG centers and the NAS, what will they bring to the table? For example, CIMMYT, we know they could bring foundation seed, they could bring newer varieties. Then we looked at the seed companies to say, okay, what can seed companies do in terms of increasing legume seed systems? Then we also looked at the NGOs and the foundation. Some of the NGOs were more involved in quality declared seed. Some of them were bringing farmers together. We also had to look at the extension. For example, how do we promote legumes? Looking at extension, looking at advisories, and also not to forget the market. We looked at aggregators to look at the partners that can help us to aggregate the legumes at the end of once farmers have produced the grain. So we knew that once we can find the markets, then that will pull the seed systems. Was to first look at the market, what is required, who can provide what, and what different roles can be played. So based on that, now we designed the project to scale the legumes. And what are some of the things that we did? It was also to build capacity building, that we did training in terms of seed production, so that at least quality seed can be produced by the partners. One of the things was also to look at quality assurance and quality control using some of the molecular work or some of the DNA work, so that at least we knew that some of the partners, they wanted quality seed. They wanted a product that at the end, that product will be quality. And also we looked at the nutrition of the legumes. So looking at the nutrition or health that helped us to, to promote legumes. For example, using feeding programs, using some of the schools. So some of the partners use that part to scale the legumes. And then also one of the main thing was to look at some of the constraints that were there in terms of legumes. So we had to bring in partners that can reduce the labor costs for legumes. So example, in Tanzania, we worked with a company that specialized in multi-crop thresher. That was also to create employment for women and for the youth. So that was one of the issues that we had to work on, so that we can reduce the labor, make legumes more attractive to the youth and to the women farmers. And also one of the things was to scale in terms of looking at the different partners. What can they do? Was to look at value addition. You can see in this presentation, there's oil from groundnuts. There's peanut butter from groundnuts. And then on the far left, there's a seed company that is producing that particular seed. And based on that, there was contracts between a company that was producing groundnuts, because they wanted a certain product so that they can produce the right peanut butter and also to produce the right oil. And also based on that, there was a lot of promotion during the different shows, like during Nani Nani, there was a promotion. Then there was also promotion of tari bean for school feeding programs. So these are some of the things that were done. And also there was increase in terms of pigeon pea, because there was a market, for example, in India and the various other countries for pigeon pea. So when we started the project, there was really very few, for example, in Tanzania, very few companies that were promoting pigeon pea. So based on that promotion, and also based on the pull for the market, there was uptake of pigeon pea from ADI. And also we had to address things like gender and youth, to look at some of the gender gaps within the legume seed systems. And in terms of legumes, it's always known that legumes are for women crops, especially groundnuts, to see how we can bring in women and youth to participate in the seed production. For example, some of the seed companies were able to contract women farmers and the youth farmers to produce seed on their behalf. So this is something that we did, to also look at some of the female-led seed production for legumes, and also to train some of the women farmers to produce seed. And most of the seed that they produced was quality declared seed. because quality declared seed is the seed that has less standards compared to certified seed. So this was more like this the starting point. Instead of starting with certified seed, they started more with quality declared seed. And once they graduate from the quality declared seed, then we moved on to to certified seed production. Also within the legume space, we did a lot of digital promotion and delivery. So we did partner with lot of with Viamo. We partnered with Swabo. We partnered with also with seed companies. There was a lot of small seed packs that were distributed to to companies, I mean to farmers, so that they can try most of the varieties that were being promoted in the project. And most of the varieties that were being promoted were less than 10 years in the 10 years old. This was done deliberately so that farmers could benefit from the genetic gains instead of producing uh, very old varieties. So that was done through mega demos. It was done using some of the digital platform so that we can reach more of the audiences or to reach more of the farmers. And also there was also use of digital platform in terms of aggregation. We had some of the partners, for example, like Agra in Tanzania, where farmers could access their platform for marketing or to tell them the quantities of legumes that are available. So that was more of a linkage between farmers and the aggregators or the market. Oops. Okay, and one of the issues that was done was to not just to promote seed alone. Seed was also promoted with climate smart agronomy and soil health. So we had to go in instead of just promoting seed alone. Seed was bundled with either with fertilizer, bundled with inoculum, and also in some areas farmers were also taught how to use conservation farming. So this encouraged farmers because this improved uh, their yields. So this was done even during that also helped during the year when there was El Nino in Zambia and also in Malawi. We found that the combination helped to mitigate farmers. We also went ahead and also tried to encourage some of the governments to when they are using or when they are promoting the subsidy programs to use some of the newer varieties that or to use some of the newer varieties that will have more benefit to the farmers. This is just one of the winter seed production in Malawi that was successful. I'm sure you will hear more about winter production from Wilson in Malawi and also in other countries where we involved some of the commercial farmers to to be more engaged in terms of seed production. And some of them were contracted by big seed companies. Some were contracted by the aggregators to produce certain type of beans. So this have helped in terms of scaling of the of beans, scaling of other legumes. So this is just a summary of what we have done in ADI. This to look at the number of new varieties that have come up from the project. As we summarize the project, we found that at least from ADI, we have managed to promote some of the new bean and groundnuts varieties, and also there have been number of increases in terms of seed businesses. We have found that even those companies that were not very strong now because of the legume seed system, they have seen the value in terms of adding legumes. We have seen that in the past, most of the seed that was there or certified seed was mostly hybrid maize. But as seed companies showed the opportunity, showed a niche in the legume seed systems, then they also decided to stock more of the legumes. And also because we have also seen the frequency or the purchase of increase of quality declared seed and certified seed in the market. And also we find that there's more and more seed companies now that are moving from the informal seed market and moving up to the formal seed market, trying to increase the quality of legume seed in the market. Okay, that's what I have today. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sitmela, for those insightful reflections and for grounding us in the key innovations and lessons from EDI. Your presentation has definitely set a strong foundation for today's discussion. We will now move on to our second presentation, which offers a practical case study perspective from the last mile delivery side of the legume seed systems. So it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Wilson Nkata, a regional bean breeder, as well as a coordinator of the Southern Africa Bean Research Network at the Alliance of Biodiversity and CIMMYT. He is actively been involved in strengthening the bean seed systems in Southern Africa. So, Dr. Nkata, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Itero, for the introduction. So I will share my screen. Okay. Can you see?
Not yet.
Okay. You can see, right?
Yes, we can see it now. You can just put it in presentation mode.
Yeah, so as the introduction, my name is Winston Carter, working for CIMMYT, Alliance of Biodiversity, and CIMMYT as a bean breeder, and again, Southern Africa Bean Research Network Coordinator. So I will share with you my presentation, Strengthening Innovations of Legume Seed Systems. As a matter of introduction, I would want to take an opportunity to just run through the organization I work for. So within CIMMYT, we have what is called the Pan-African Bean Research Alliance, where the bean program in Africa is affiliated to. So it's an alliance Alliance of National Agriculture Research Services, the private sectors, the universities, farmers, sub-regional organization, non-governmental organization, community-based organization, and again, donors. So some of these partners are the partners that we work together under AIDI. And our key impact areas are: one, improve incomes; two, food security; three, nutrition among smallholder men, women, and youth farmers, and other actors in the value chain. So when AIDI came, it was a great opportunity to us. But before I deep dive in what we have managed to achieve and AIDI, I would want just to share with you the seed delivery models that Pablo has been championing since early 90s, because some of those models are the models that we also had to use under AIDI. So in the early 90s to mid 90s, we mainly focus on traditional seed systems. But these traditional systems, they had the challenges. The main challenges were very slow, very unequal, and very weak in reaching to potential clients, in this case, farmers. So we mainly engaged people at, especially farmers at community level. So then we evolved, and by now exploring other innovations so that we can reach a number of farmers. So we started trying to use small packs, then adopting conventional demand-led system models. So going to formal, because previously bean seed system was more like informal. So in terms of engagement, we started expanding, started engaging policies and also private sector, especially the seed companies. By this time, a number of seed companies were emerging in Africa. So currently, we are now championing what is called the demand-led seed system, which is an innovation that we also used and AIDI to reach out to a lot of farmers and a lot of beneficiaries. So under this approach, we continue engaging policymakers. We also continue engaging private sector, including traders, and we also champion the mass stakeholder platforms. So the demand rate seed system that we had deployed under AIDI, we had linked grain traders. So we are talking to grain traders. What really do they require? Then that information was being passed to those who were involved in seed production, including the early seed generation seed producers, the ones that are producing certified seed. Then again, we also worked closely with some stakeholders, including the National Research Program, which could also bring some of the varieties that we bred, but they are now under their custodian. So the model that we had used was like a pull and push strategy. So the market was really a very important component in deploying our initiatives under AIDI. The project has achieved a number of things beyond the activities. It has also created additional investment from other donors because of the initiatives that we're implementing. So we achieved two. We killed two birds with one stone under AIDI. So one of I'll just present some cases because we have really achieved a lot, as Peter also highlighted in his presentation. So like in Malawi, we ended up implementing the demand-led bin value chain system. So before AIDI, for example, we saw little investment in terms of, there was little investment in terms of in the bean value chain. For instance, one farm had only 300 hectares, but through engaging through AIDI, because it gave us an opportunity to engage with such actors, one farm increased land under bean production from 300 hectares to 600 hectares in 2025. And this farm was also visited by the president. And we are up to now, we are constantly engaging the farmer. We're still supporting this farmer in terms of good agronomic practices. And the farmer now is also hosting some trials. So the other thing is we intensified through AIDI production of market demanded varieties, Sugar 131, NUA 45, and Cranksop, which is Shuma. So by getting the signals, by interacting with the grain off takers who could get the signals of which varieties really they would really fetch money to the value chain actors, because agriculture is business. So then we had to intensify production of those varieties that they're on demand. Then through AIDI, when we are starting, I think we had a shortfall of pre-basic seed. In fact, in 2023-2024 season, we only had one farmer who produced 40 tons of pre-basic seed. But as I speak, in 2025, this has tripled. We have seen private sector involvement, and this time around, they have started harvesting, and we're expecting not less than 150 tons of pre-basic seed, which is a huge transformation. So we have really accelerated in terms of seed production. So what was our role using AIDI funds? We provided technical backstopping while the private sector was investing in the actual production of seed. So the AIDI investment was more like a catalyst to catalyze the investment in seed production. And then through interacting with these off-takers and seed producers, some of the off-takers, especially the grain off-takers who are working with small-scale farmers, they also started distributing seed to the farmers. So like last year, close to 100 metric tons of certified seed was distributed to some of the to some of the farmers by the grain off takers that we engage under AIDI. So some of the grain off takers and seed companies, they also recruited some agricultural advisory officers to close the gap that has been there in terms of advisory services. We could train them, but they could see that, oh, there is a gap. Some of the farmers might not be reached out. So to scale up in terms of advisory services, some of the grain off takers and the seed companies recruited their own agricultural advisory personnel, and some of them we trained them, and like as of last year, 17 agricultural advisory personnel were hired by some of the actors that we worked with to support farmers in good agriculture production for beans. And again, we have also seen grain off takers investing now in seed production to meet the demand of seed. Some of these grain off takers are now distributing seed to their farmers, because some farmers cannot manage to buy seed. So through the buyback model, the grain off takers are now investing in seed, and they have sourced some of this seed from the seed that was produced in first year. So they are producing and delivering it to the farmers, and then they'll buy back, and based on the logistics that they have agreed with the farmers. And again, seed production, we also see seed companies engaging small-scale farmers now, whom we are able to train through the initiative to produce seed. One of the big seed companies that has done this is Seedico. They have engaged small seed companies, small farmers, small-scale farmers to produce their early generation seed, especially basic seed, which they had sourced from the basic seed that was produced. And the results have been successful. The farmers have just delivered 20 tons to Seedico warehouse last week. And through this investment, our interaction with the private sector really was really strengthened. So we saw some of the private sector getting an interest in also testing new varieties based on the market signal that they were getting from especially the international market. And this activity ended up being funded by USAID. So as I said, the AIDI ended up bringing additional investment. So and now Irish Aid has also expressed interest to continue supporting the activities that we initiated under AIDI. So I'll give you just an example of the structured grain market in Malawi, which was championed again under AIDI. So we worked with Mirere. Mirere is a woman-led agribusiness enterprise. So she has a contract with some grain off-takers in South Africa of around 10,000 metric tons for sugar and white haricot. So she's working with farmers. So we supported the farmers, train our farmers in good agricultural production. Then she engaged thousands of farmers, around 50,000 men, women, and youth in different irrigation schemes. So we provided seed to Mirere, and Mirere is still continuing this model. Of course, they had made some challenges due to dry spells that we experienced in the region, as Peter mentioned, but they are continuing for the model that we had championed, or we have been championing under AIDI. So like this year, she has produced huge quantities of seed, which when we trace the source is AIDI, and she's now busy distributing the farmers. She didn't meet the demand the last season because of the drought and dry spells that hit Southern Africa. But I think this time she's really optimistic to maybe hit half of the demand that she has in South Africa. So the AIDI bean component was not only in Malawi, it was covering Zambia and Tanzania. So in Tanzania, we also worked with one of the grain off-taker. The grain off-taker has been working for a very long time in the Southern Highlands, Ikuo. So we supported Ikuo in regarding capacity building of the farmers. So Ikuo is currently working with 12,000 farmers, small than of which 49% are women, and they are scaling some of the varieties like Uyore Njano, Jessica, Uyore 18. So Ikuo is providing fertilizer on credit to the farmers. So, and again, and the input side, like seed and so forth. So we supported Ikuo to start producing early generation seed, and again, convincing Tanzania Agriculture Research Institute to decentralize production of early generation seed, because that was a major bottleneck. They could not get enough early seed to support their farmers, to deliver to the farmers that they have been working with. So through the AIDI, we engaged Tanzania Agriculture Research Institute to decentralize early generation seed, and which is more like policy engagement. So we succeeded, and ICUO for the past 2 years, they have started producing early generation seed, which fits in their program where they are working with around 12,000 farmers. And ICUO is exporting beans to DRC, Zambia, Burundi, and Uganda. So with ICUO, we championed the multi-stakeholder partnership where the farmers, they have got a WhatsApp group, so the farmers are able to know what ICUO wants, and they are able to produce in line with what ICUO is interested. And we also subgranted ICUO through AIDI funds to help them reaching more farmers in the second year of AIDI. So yeah, AIDI has really helped in transforming the bean value chain in Southern Africa. So we have seen increase in certified and corrected grade seed for recently released varieties that are on market, are demanded by the market. Through AIDI, we are also able to strengthen our linkages through my stakeholder platforms, and we have also seen an increase in investment from private sector, because now they are able to know what demand is there through these engagements. And for instance, I will in Malawi, one of the seed producer. A year ago, he did 40 hectares, but this time he has almost doubled his hectarage. He's now producing seed from 505 hectares from around the 40 hectares. And he has invested in high-tech equipment, including a tractor which is using a GPS. In addition to that, his irrigation now is remotely controlled. So it's all this because of that engagement, sharing ideas, and also telling this farmer to say, okay, this is the opportunity, this is the market that is available, and so forth. But this has, for over, they have been on that farm for nearly 100 years, but they have not been producing beans. They were mashing to tobacco, but we have seen that diversification and the investing in bean seed. So which also we from us we see that AIDI has helped in developing a system that will be sustainable, because we have seen now private sector investing. So much as the project might be phasing out, but the value chain actors who have invested, they will continue with the initiative. And in addition to that, other investors are also attracted to the initiative that were championed by AIDI. So we can say the model that we deployed, the demand rate seed system, has demonstrated that it's scalable, and again, it's effective approach when we are looking at introducing improved varieties, and again, when it comes to sustainability of such initiatives, such projects. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Nkata, for that engaging and practical presentation. It was very enlightening to hear how you are playing a critical role in translating research innovations into real impact on the ground. So at this point, we'll open the floor for our interactive question and answer session. We invite all participants to type their questions if they can, or you can raise your hand using the raise hand feature if you'd like to ask a question directly. So I can already see in the question and answer chat box, we already have a question from Jonathan. So he has a question for Dr. Nkata. So thank you very much for your presentation. From 50 metric tons in 2023 to 150 metric tons in 2025 is impressive and a good success to you and your team championing EDA in Malawi. If we are framing this as a national success contribution of EDA in the legume seed systems value chain in Malawi, what percent would this be considering the demand for pre-basic seed in your country? That would be a nice way to frame this success, especially if it is a significant percentage. So over to you, Dr. Nkata, a question for you.
Okay, great. I may not, thank you for a very good question. I may not be precise, but I would just give you an overview of seed demand in Malawi. So in terms of land dedicated to beans in Malawi is around 350,000 hectares. Potentially, it means we need around 30,000 tons of certified seed. And currently, the country produces less than 3,000 tons of certified seed. So, and the main bottleneck is early generation seed. So, for instance, this is a pre-basic seed, 150 tons. So, if we go by multiplication rate of the minimum around 1,000 kgs per hectare, it means if everything equal from this seed, we may have certified two in the region of 8,000 or 8,000 tons certified two. So it's like we may really double, but I really need to do some calculations to give accurate figures. But it's really a huge success. I was sharing this with the Minister of Agriculture, and he said, "Wow, this is really really great." And yeah, in fact the government through the World Bank, they are intending, of course, they will be signing a contract with us. They have indicated to support us with around 263K on seed production. So it's really a great success. We just need to do the arithmetics and maybe share the actual values. But from policymakers, they have really seen that there is really a milestone, I think, achievement.
Okay, thank you very much, Doc, for that insightful answer. Any other questions from the participants? Oh, I can see a hand.
Hi, Michaelo. Thanks. I was not sure how I was going to speak because I didn't see the function for unmuting, but thanks for allowing me. Yeah, so just to follow up to Wilson, I think fantastic. And as I was saying in the comment there, yes, that's a great success. So if in your report, I think if you can frame your successes around along those lines, I think it would be great, and that's a story we'd like to carry forward actually, because it's a big thing, I think. Yeah, but yeah, you do the arithmetics in the background. I think when you are reporting, if you frame things around like that, would be nice. That's the main point. Thanks. Yeah. Over,
Okay,
Michelle.
thank you so much, Jonathan. Any other questions, contributions, additions?
And again, on the farmers that have been engaged by Cidico this year, they were small-scale farmers, and they have produced 20 tons, and Cidico is buying, I think, at 5,000, which is around $4 per kg. So you can see those are some of the success stories we have lined up for us to share. Yeah, no, and also many thanks for supporting. We already published one, I think two, success stories through your assistance. So we are also piloting for such stories, and beyond that, we are also planning to engage someone who would analyze the investment that a social scientist to help us analyzing the investment that has come in uh, as from private sector side with the engagement of the partners for AIDI. So to see what investment has private sector invested through this initiative, because I think that was also one of objective of this project, to catalyze investment from private sector.
Okay, so any other questions?
So the other thing is, for the sake of people who are may be interested, we managed to reach over 30,000 farmers directly with capacity building for countries Malawi, Zambia, and Tanzania.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Carter, for that insight. Any other questions? Any clarifications? Going once, going twice. Okay, so this concludes our session for today. Would like to thank the presenters, would like to thank all participants for joining us today. So we look forward to engaging with everybody next month, same time. So it's goodbye from me and the rest of the team. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.